Let me tell you something simple but powerful. Your mind is your greatest asset, not your money, not your job, not your connections. Your mind, the way you think decides the way you live. The difference between an average person and a successful one isn't luck, it's mindset. Most people spend their whole lives working for something outside themselves. They work hard for money, for position, for comfort. But very few people work hard on their mind. They want to change their life, but they never change their thinking. They want success, but they don't train their mind for it. You see, your mind is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it becomes lazy. It starts doubting, complaining, comparing. It wants comfort instead of growth. It wants shortcuts instead of effort. And once that happens, even a small problem feels like a big wall. But if you train your mind, it becomes your best weapon, calm, focused, and strong. Training your mind means teaching it discipline. It means forcing yourself to stay calm when things go wrong. It means choosing learning over entertainment, patience over anger, and action over excuses. It's not easy. It takes time. But it's the only way to grow beyond your limits. When you wake up, don't just check your phone, check your thoughts. What are you feeding your mind? Are you filling it with gossip, complaints, and fear? Or with ideas, lessons, and goals? The quality of what goes into your mind decides the quality of what comes out of your life. Successful people are not the smartest ones. They are the most trained ones. They trained their mind to stay focused when others got distracted. They trained their mind to stay positive when others gave up. They trained their mind to keep learning when others thought they knew enough. So take the time. Read books that challenge you. Listen to people who think differently from you. Learn skills that scare you a little. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is just mental training. Every time you fail, your mind learns to stay strong, to adapt, to think better next time. The world keeps changing. Technology, jobs, opportunities, everything moves fast. But if your mind stays stuck, you'll feel lost. The people who win in the future will not be the ones who work the hardest. They'll be the ones who think the clearest. Don't say, I don't have time. You have time. You just don't use it wisely. Replace 1 hour of scrolling with 1 hour of learning. Replace one complaint with one idea. Replace one doubt with one action. Slowly your mind becomes sharper. Your confidence grows. Your direction becomes clear. And one day, you'll look back and realize something powerful. Training your mind was the best investment you ever made. Because everything you achieve, your career, your happiness, your peace, starts with how you think. So stop waiting for the world to change. Train your mind first. Once your mind changes, your world will follow. Take the time to train your mind, because that's where your real success begins. Your mind is your greatest asset because everything you do, create, and achieve starts from the way you think. Many people spend years trying to change their jobs, their habits, or their surroundings, but they rarely stop to change the one thing that controls it all, their mindset. The truth is, your mind shapes your entire reality. If you think small, your life will stay small. If you think strong, your life will grow strong. Every dream, every goal, every success begins in your thoughts before it ever becomes real in your hands. When you understand that your mind is the foundation of everything, you start treating it with more care. Just like a farmer protects the soil before planting seeds, you must protect your mind before planting ideas. Negative thoughts, fear, and doubt are like weeds. If you let them grow, they take over everything. Positive thinking isn't about ignoring problems. It's about facing them with a stronger attitude. It's training yourself to see lessons where others see failures and opportunities where others see obstacles. Your mind is also your greatest tool for decision making. Every choice, from how you spend your time to how you react to problems, comes from the way your mind has been trained. A strong mind doesn't panic when things go wrong. It stays calm, looks for solutions, and moves forward. On the other hand, an untrained mind gets emotional, confused, and fearful. That's why two people can face the same challenge, and one will grow while the other gives up. The difference isn't the problem, it's the mindset. The power of your mind is also connected to focus. In a world full of distractions, people lose direction easily because their minds are constantly pulled in different directions. Training your mind helps you control your attention, stay disciplined, and keep your energy on what truly matters. When you master your focus, you stop wasting time on things that don't help your goals. You start living with intention. Confidence also begins in the mind. Many people wait for success to feel confident, but confidence is built by trusting your thoughts. When your mind believes you can do something, your actions will follow. You might fail a few times, but your mindset will keep you moving forward. Without mental strength, talent and skill mean very little. Success doesn't come to the smartest or the fastest. It comes to the one who refuses to quit because their mind won't let them. So when we say your mind is your greatest asset, it's not just a motivational phrase, it's the truth. Everything external can be taken away, your job, your money, your comfort. But if you have a trained, disciplined, and positive mind, you can rebuild everything from zero. That's what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. Your mind is the engine that drives your life. If you take care of it, it will take you anywhere you want to go. Training your mind is like training a muscle. It takes time, effort, and consistency. Just like your body becomes stronger through regular exercise, your mind becomes sharper through constant learning and discipline. When you don't challenge your mind, it becomes lazy. It starts craving comfort, avoiding hard work, and fearing change. A weak mind will always look for the easy way out, while a trained mind learns to face difficulty and grow through it. Think about it. No one becomes physically strong by sitting still. You have to lift, stretch, push, and repeat even when it's uncomfortable. The same is true for your thoughts. You have to push your mind to stay positive when life gets tough. You have to stretch your patience when things don't go your way. You have to lift yourself out of negativity and doubt every single day. That's mental training. A trained mind doesn't react emotionally to everything. It pauses. It thinks it responds with control. This is one of the most powerful skills anyone can develop. Life will always throw challenges. What you feed your mind shapes who you become. Every thought, word, and piece of information you consume leaves an impact, whether you realize it or not. Your mind is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you feed it negativity, fear, and doubt, that's what you'll see in your life. But if you feed it knowledge, confidence, and hope, you'll see progress, strength, and success. The challenge is that most people are not careful about what they let in. They scroll, listen, and talk without realizing that every bit of input either builds or weakens their mindset. When you constantly consume gossip, complaints, or drama, your mind begins to mirror that energy. You start comparing, criticizing, and overthinking. It's not because you're a negative person, it's because your environment and information have shaped your thoughts. What goes into your mind eventually becomes what comes out in your actions and emotions. So if you want peace, clarity, and focus, you have to feed your mind with peace, clarity, and focus. You can't expect to grow if you're surrounded by distractions and negativity every day. Feeding your mind properly means being intentional about what you allow in. Read books that expand your perspective. Watch videos that teach you something new. Follow people who inspire you instead of those who waste your time. Listen to conversations that challenge your thinking instead of those that limit it. The quality of what you consume directly influences the quality of your mindset. Every minute you spend learning something useful is like depositing energy into your mental bank. Over time, those small deposits become massive interest in the form of confidence, wisdom, and clarity. Your mind also feeds on emotions. If you let anger, jealousy, or fear sit inside you for too long, they start to poison your thoughts. That's why mental training also includes emotional control. You must learn to process your feelings instead of being controlled by them. When you choose forgiveness over hate, patience over frustration, and gratitude over envy, you strengthen your mental balance. That balance helps you stay calm in tough moments and make wiser choices. Another key part of feeding your mind is silence. Many people think growth comes only from consuming more information, but sometimes it comes from disconnecting. When you take time to reflect, think, or simply be quiet, your mind organizes what it has learned. It finds patterns, creates ideas, and builds understanding. Silence is not empty. It's the space where your mind grows stronger. Protecting your mental diet is a lifelong practice. The world is full of noise trying to grab your attention. But when you decide to filter it, to choose what helps you grow and reject what drains you, you take control of your mindset. You become sharper, calmer, and more confident. Your thoughts start working for you instead of against you. So be mindful of what you feed your mind, because just like your body becomes what you eat, your life becomes what you think. Feed your mind with strength and you'll live a strong life. Failure is not the end. It's part of the training your mind needs to grow stronger. Every time you fail, your mind faces a choice to break or to build. Most people fear failure because they see it as proof that they're not good enough. But failure is not a signal to stop. It's feedback that helps you adjust and improve. If you look closely, you'll see that every successful person has a long list of failures behind them. What made them different is that they didn't let those failures define them. They used them as mental training to prepare for bigger challenges. When you fail, your emotions usually take over first. You feel disappointed, embarrassed, or even angry. That's normal. But the key is how long you stay in that state. A trained mind doesn't run away from failure, it studies it. It asks questions like, what can I learn from this? Or how can I do it better next time? Each failure becomes a lesson, and those lessons shape you into someone stronger, smarter, and more disciplined. The more you fail and recover, the more mental endurance you build. Think of it like exercise. When you lift weights, your muscles tear a little so they can rebuild stronger. Failure does the same thing for your mind. It teaches you patience, resilience, and emotional control. These are skills you can't learn from success alone. Success feels good, but it doesn't test your limits. Failure does. It exposes your weaknesses so you can fix them. One of the biggest mental shifts you can make is to stop seeing failure as something negative. Failure is a teacher. It tells you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. Without it, you would stay stuck in the same patterns, afraid to take risks. When your mind is trained, failure becomes just another step in your process, not something to fear, but something to use. People often say, I'm afraid to fail, but the truth is, failing to try is far worse. The more you avoid failure, the weaker your mind becomes. You start doubting yourself before you even begin. That's how many dreams die, not from failure, but from fear of it. The only way to overcome that fear is to face it. When you fail and realize that you can survive it, your confidence grows. You start believing in your ability to adapt and move forward. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than you can imagine. But instead of quitting, they train their minds to look at failure differently. They learn to see opportunity where others saw defeat. That's the real power of a strong mindset. It turns pain into progress. So don't run from your mistakes. Learn from them. Don't hide your failures. Use them as motivation. Every time you fall, remind yourself that this is part of your mental training. The more you fall and rise again, the more unstoppable you become. Failure doesn't define you. How you respond to it does. Consistency is the real secret behind a strong mind. Most people start with excitement, motivation, and energy, but they stop when things get hard or boring. That's why they never see real change. Success doesn't come from one big action. It comes from small, steady actions repeated every day. Training your mind works the same way. You don't become disciplined overnight. You build it slowly by showing up even when you don't feel like it. Consistency means doing the right thing even when no one is watching, even when there's no reward yet. It's easy to be motivated for a week, but the real growth happens in those quiet days when no one sees your effort. Those are the days when your mind learns commitment. Every time you push yourself to keep going, you teach your mind that you are in control, not your mood, not your excuses, not your comfort. Excuses are the biggest enemy of consistency. The mind always finds reasons to delay, to skip, or to stop. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. I don't have time. These small excuses slowly build a weak mindset. A strong mind, on the other hand, replaces excuses with actions. It says, I'll do it now, even when it's inconvenient. Over time, that attitude becomes a habit, and that habit becomes strength. One of the most powerful things about being consistent is how it changes your confidence. Every small action you complete builds trust in yourself. When you keep promises to yourself, your self-respect grows. You stop doubting your abilities because you have proof of your effort. Confidence doesn't come from talking big. It comes from doing small things repeatedly until they become second nature. That's why the most successful people don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. Consistency also helps you manage failure better. When your routine is strong, a bad day doesn't destroy your progress. You just get up and continue. You don't need to start over. You simply adjust and move forward. That steady rhythm keeps your mind calm and focused. It teaches you that progress is not about being perfect every day, but about not quitting. Building consistency starts with small, realistic goals. You don't need to change everything overnight. Start by improving one habit, reading for 15 minutes a day, waking up earlier, or avoiding negative thoughts. Once your mind gets used to one positive routine, it becomes easier to add more. The key is to stay patient. Growth takes time, but every day you stay consistent, your mind becomes sharper, stronger, and more reliable. Over time, consistency transforms into momentum. You stop struggling to stay on track because discipline becomes part of who you are. That's when real success happens, when your mind no longer depends on motivation but on structure. So remember, success is not built on intensity, it's built on consistency. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work. Even small progress every day adds up to something powerful. That's how you train your mind to win. A trained mind creates success because everything in life begins with how you think. You can have talent, opportunity, or resources, but without the right mindset, none of it will last. Your thoughts shape your behavior shapes your habits, and your habits shape your future. That's why the strongest people are not always the most skilled or the most educated. They are the ones who have trained their minds to stay focused, positive, and calm no matter what happens around them. When your mind is trained, you stop reacting emotionally to every problem. Instead of panicking or giving up, you look for solutions. You stay steady when others lose direction. That's what makes real success possible. Mental clarity. Most failures happen not because people lack ability, but because they lose focus or patience when things get tough. A trained mind helps you stay grounded during chaos. It keeps you thinking clearly when others are overwhelmed by pressure or fear. Success is also about consistency and decision-making. A strong mind helps you make better choices. You stop chasing instant results and start thinking long-term. You understand that success takes time, effort, and resilience. You start focusing on what you can control, your attitude, your work ethic, and your growth. When you master your inner world, the outer world begins to respond differently. Opportunities that once seemed impossible start to open because you now approach them with confidence and clarity. A trained mind also helps you stay positive in failure. Life will not always go your way, but a strong mindset turns setbacks into lessons. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this teaching me? That small shift changes everything. It keeps you learning, improving, and moving forward even when things get hard. People with weak minds see obstacles. People with trained minds see chances to grow. Calmness is another sign of a trained mind. When you're calm, you think better, you speak better, and you act better. You don't rush decisions or get distracted by other people's opinions. You stay centered on your own goals. That's why calm people often lead better and achieve more. They are not controlled by emotions, they control them. The mind also influences how you see yourself. If you train it to believe in your worth and abilities, you stop comparing yourself to others. You focus on progress instead of perfection. This self-belief gives you strength to take risks, to keep going when others quit, and to build something meaningful. Success is not about never failing. It's about believing in yourself enough to keep trying. In the end, everything starts and ends in your mind. If your thoughts are weak, your actions will be weak. But if your thoughts are strong, your life will follow. So train your mind to think clearly. Stay disciplined and focus on growth, because once your mind is trained, success is no longer a question of if, it's only a matter of when.